was the first time in the Carolinas that this film has been shown. All of the Carolinas, yes, every one of them. Wow. Well, thanks so much for coming all this way. Number one, and you've been here since yesterday. Yes, yes. There's just so much to ask about your film, and it's it was. All right, where did you get the idea from?
Interesting backstory. So, friends of mine, people I work with, we're all in the industry for the most part. And one of the guys in my office, just historically, we always just bounce ideas off of each other, right? And he's like, hey, I saw this one thing, or I had this little idea. So he comes running into my office one day, and he's talking about it. And I'm like, oh, that, it had to do with the kid in the bed where, the dad walks in the room, the kid's, under the cover says, I'm in the bed, it's under the bed, he looked under the bed. So that sort of it was very basic form of that, right? We obviously elaborated on the whole thing. But so what we usually do is we talk it to death for about an hour or two during the day, and then somehow I always tend to go home and germinate on it, and then like 2 days later I hand him a script and he starts laughing, right? He's like, it's just because every movie we've done, either I've come up with it and we've talked it through, and anyways, after like 2 days I always typically come up with whatever the script is. So it sort of spawned from that little, powwow.
Huh. And you talk like it, I know we have a lot of first-time filmmakers here. How long have you been doing this?
I've been in the film industry since '93, give or take, but sort of making our own films. There were a few in the '90s with actually the same guy, and we sort of worked together pretty much that whole time. But over the last 5-6 years, we've kind of gotten more serious about doing it kind of on our own. It's mostly for fun, but you never know. I mean, there's a lot of films out there, shorts that you can have an idea, you can do it. Like did anybody see the Lights Out short that became the feature film? Right? You just never know, like, if somebody sees it and goes, hey, there could be a lot more to this. And when we typically create movies, he looks at them a little different. For him, he would have ended it, after the kid's not under the bed. And I'm like, no. I tend to approach it as like the opening sequence of a movie that, is a self-contained story, but you could continue wanting to know what kind of happens next, right? You could do a little sequel to it or other stuff, So it kind of starts with that. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just guessing, but you've got to be a parent, or
Yes.
your partner's a parent.
No, we're parents.
Because everybody knows what it's like if when your kid wakes up. And
It's
you're
the poor
like,
parenting decision number one that usually dads make is watching scary movies with their kids that are too young, and they keep them up all night. And that's where my mind went after he told the story. I added a lot of the beginning with the dad and the kid, and then all the stuff after that. But.
And I have to say, like, when we had seen your film, we thought it was awesome that the dad, because sometimes the parents don't believe the kid,
Right.
but the dad was like, oh, let's get out of here, and they just kind of hightailed out of
Yeah,
there.
you kind of, if that did happen to me or something, I would grab everybody and get the hell out, right? I mean, it's just what you're going to do. So, yeah, you want it to be a logical progression, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Keep building.
Yeah, definitely. In the monster, like, can you elaborate on anything?
The fact that that's under a blanket and you can't see it, that was for budgetary reasons.
Very good.
No, because it was simple, right? The things when you see them, it takes a little bit of the power away. It's when they're a little bit more mysterious that you can keep sort of escalating and building it. So, yeah, I mean, we called it the blanket monster, right?
The blanket monster.
We didn't have any other name for it.
Nice.
We were going to use Mr. Monster, but that's the doll. But,
Nice. And as far as casting, did the kid and the father know each other? Because they seemed like...
That's father and son.
See?
So Brian
you can
and his
kind
son, Leo,
yeah.
are the parents, are the dad and son, and Donna's a friend. The two of them are a part of like an improv group, and they do a bunch of stuff. They're in the industry as well, but then that's their thing, right? And they love doing improv and other stuff. And so whenever we do these lately, the last few years, we've been pulling from that group of improv people to sort of fill out the roles. And it's good because they're all seasoned, and you got to contain them sometimes because they tend to go a little wild, but it's fun.
Yeah, for sure. So how many films would you say that you have written and directed?
Probably directed like 8 to 10 sort of short form. I've written a lot more scripts than that for them. We finished writing sort of a follow-up to this, as I've been sort of telling people. It's not a sequel or anything, but it could take place on the next street over, like the next day or even that same night. But it's very different, but the universe of it is the same. It could literally, you could do. Our concept now is we've got this one, we could do this next one, and if we could tie them all together in some sort of an anthology that you can end with some global resolution for all of them, that would sort of be the goal. So that, it's probably 4 or 5 more shorts in that vein. But we hopefully, if we do tie it back in, we have to do it soon because Leo's going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Or he just gets older and
Right.
it's a year or 2 later, right? So.
Yep, that happens with kids. They just grow, you know. and-
Yeah, Leo's never acted before. And
Really?
So the most terrifying, you asked a question of one of the filmmakers about working with kids
Mhm.
earlier, right?
Yeah.
It was scary because you don't know what you're going to get, right? I mean, Brian's an actor and it's his son, and he's never really done anything before. So you get there on set, and the first shot we did is the shot where he taps on the dad's face, but the first angle where he's actually tapping him on the face, because we weren't sure what Leo was going to do, so we don't want to film him first and start worrying about the rest of the shoot that he's not going to be able to do it. But a friend of mine, Rick Jones, who was there, the kid, he like the other director said, he knew all of his lines. He could repeat the exact same thing over and over. And then in that first take, even though he wasn't on camera, Rick and I just looked at each other. We're like, what the? We're like, look at this kid. He's like, and you wanted to turn around and film him right away because you thought you were going to lose it. But every time,
That's
he really
awesome.
loved like running down the stairs, screaming. He's like, let's do it again.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
well, we kind of got it, but feel free.
Nice.
So it's fun.
And how long was that ago?
We shot that around the last week or so of May.
Nice. So has he done anything else since then? Did he get bit by the bug or?
No, but I told Brian to stop your acting career and get your kid out there. So, but he hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, you never know, right? And I'm guessing they're out in.
They're all in LA. Yeah, they're all in LA.
Nice. So, this is your first time to North Carolina?
This is my first time in North Carolina.
And I know you just got here last night, and we've kind of been like go, 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 and you haven't really had a chance. But as you can see, we're quite different from LA, but maybe you've seen that we do have like passion here for filming. So, what do you think of North Carolina so far?
I've loved it. I mean, I flew into Raleigh.
Norfolk?
No, Raleigh.
Oh,
I actually
wow.
flew into Raleigh because that was the only place I could get a flight back to Burbank that didn't have 15 stops or leave at like
Right.
4 in the morning.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, but it's been great. The drive was awesome. I went up to the memorial or the monument for the Wright brothers.
Wright
today. That
Brothers,
was great.
yes.
But it's fantastic. The area of the beach is great. The shorts that have shot here all look great. They take advantage. Even as I was driving, this was the one thing. Driving, I don't know what the freeway number was, but as you're looking off the freeways and you see all sort of like I don't know if it's swamp or what, but all the trees, there's water, and you can stand. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, you could easily shoot something here. And then seeing the Buffalo City one, I'm like,
We're
that's
like,
perfect.
ding, mission accomplished.
Right.
Because I was going to ask
Someone
you,
has to do it.
do you think you would ever come to North Carolina to film one of your projects?
I think if it's the right project and we had the right crew and people that would be accessible, yeah, there's no reason.
Nice, nice. Have you been able to look at the beach at all?
I did. Just sort of stepped out
Cool.
at the sea
Yeah,
ranch.
the Sea Ranch.
Walked around over there today. That was nice.
Nice, nice. Awesome. Well, let's open it up and see if anybody has any questions. Yes.
Do you think it's easier being a LA filmmaker versus a filmmaker from anywhere else? Do you think you have an inside advantage?
Probably not. I mean, other than having maybe proximity access to people, but you still have to. At the end of the day, you still have to make a film, and you have to get it. You have to get them seen, right? So, and the best way to do that is through festivals or through. You could do it online. The problem if you go online too soon is you get disqualified from a majority of festivals, right? They want stuff that's sort of fresh and that isn't to the general public, right? So you gotta kind of time your rollout, and you could use the Lights Out one as an example. There's a few others I could think of that sort of the potential was there to make something more. Lights Out is only like 3 minutes long, right? It's like because you never know who's gonna see it, who's gonna respond to it, and how it could lead to something bigger, right? And you could be anywhere for that. What's his name? David Sandberg, who did that short, who ultimately directed the film, and then did Annabelle 2 recently. You know, he was in like Sweden or Stockholm or something, right? And it wasn't, you know, he wasn't in LA. If anything, it might actually be, it might hurt you to be in LA in a weird way.
All that what
Yeah.
you just said is encouraging
Yeah.
here.
It's just get out, right? Get into the festivals, and any festival. It doesn't matter if it's a small festival or a large festival. The more you can just get in front of people and get sort of a good, you know, word of mouth, or people saying, "Oh, I heard about that. I wanted to see it." It's interesting because I've been to a bunch of festivals with a couple of shorts over the last 8-9 months, and several of the. It's interesting the pattern because I've been either before or after, except for this festival, the same film. There's another film called Born Again, if anybody's seen that, which is really funny. It's a funny sort of horror short thing, but you know, you kind of follow these films through, right? And you see how everybody it goes there. Festival circuit's about a year of lifespan for a short before you might want to put it online. So, but yeah, it's a good way to get out there.
Thank you.
Definitely.
With the experience under your belt, do you have any plans for a feature-length horror film?
The answer is yes, but it's but it's sort of between work and all the other stuff, you know, and prepping it and getting it done. It's hard, right? It would have to be taking a good chunk of time off to actually commit to the production side of it. You know, and this one, I mean, we did very, very cheap, right? Other than the camera package rental, which for a weekend, you know, it was $1,200, give or take, right? You know, edited at home, in Final Cut 10, 5K, all the way through. You know, you just kind of do it, right? And with the feature side of it, it's a little bit, it's more time involved, and it's fine. I mean, we'll do it. It's just time.
How did you get permission to use that cut of Night of the Living Dead?
Public domain.
Yeah,
Public domain.
It is in the public
Yeah.
domain.
yeah.
There are, by accident, it's in the public domain, but it is one of the films that sort of sparked the change in copyright after that, so that it couldn't happen again.
And how did you get that aerial shot at night of your house in Western Credit?
It was not at night. It was actually, it was probably the 2 or 3 days before we were going to shoot. I went out. It was outside around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was very overcast, and for LA, kind of where we live, that's a shock, right? I mean, to the level of overcast that it kind of felt like the eclipse, right? Like it just felt like abnormally dark for that time of day, but still well lit and evenly lit. There's not a lot of hard shadows, right? So I said, Brendan, my son, I'm like, go grab your drone, right? It was a Phantom 3. You know, I'm like, just what I want you to do is I want you to go up, fly it up above the house, because he flies it all around the house all the time. I've got a ton of footage, but nothing like that. And so I said, like, just go. We did it in reverse. So I had him start at the house, so he didn't hit the house on the way down, and go up, right? So he started over the house, had to square up to the center of the roof, and then start going up, but then put a little bit of spin on it so that it starts rotating up, right? And when you shoot on the interesting thing about shooting on a drone is, at least for that one, it's shot at 30 frames a second because it just looks better. It's not as sort of stroby. It handles it. But what I did in Final Cut is slowed the shot down back to 24, so that it didn't do any time compression on it to try to fit 30 into 24 because the whole project's at 24. So it slows it down slightly and gives it a little bit more ethereal, kind of weird, smooth look. So it takes off a couple of the bumps out of it that he had in there.
The lights out reference you made,
Yeah.
does that mean you got a chance to meet Teresa Palmer?
No, I did not. I wasn't on those, but that was just as yeah. Didn't work on the lights out stuff, or Annabelle.
And lastly, you mentioned that the swamp here in the area,
Mm-hmm.
now we have to call it wetland.
Wetland. Okay. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Is that the official?
No. That's his.
Political correct.
Political. Okay. Understood. But it looks very cool when you're driving down the road at 65 miles an hour, and I was like, I wish I had a camera. Shoot some stuff, just even if it's inserts for something later.
Yeah, it just goes on and on and
No,
on,
it's great.
especially coming in from the west.
Yeah, it's great. Loved it.
Thank you. My question is, obviously with the white blanket, of course, that brings us back to Michael Myers and The Shape. I don't know if that was intentional, but do you think that adds or subtracts from your effect?
It was done intentionally, sort of, because we didn't want, you know, again, originally when we envisioned it, it was kind of like there's the blanket, and then the eyes start bleeding through, and then it starts dripping down, you know, and we came up with some different concepts, but ultimately we just felt like, you know, sort of an abstract shape or something under a sheet or a blanket would just kind of feel right. Do you know what I mean? It's funny you mentioned Michael Myers. When we were shooting, we did the Halloween shot in the movie purposely, which is the shot of them running straight down towards camera at stair level. We messed around one of my friends and one of the helped with the DP and on it. I'm like, let's do the Halloween shot where they're all running down the stairs towards the camera. So we had to like resting on the thing, like precariously, this expensive camera just kind of sitting on the stair. And so we're like, all right, we got it. Yeah, that's good. So that was our little Halloween reference.
And are you like specifically a horror-loving
That's
filmmaker?
my favorite sort of genre, yeah.
Yeah, and what is your influence? Is it Halloween?
Yeah.
You're
that's
about
a
to
good
become
one.
part of the family if it
Yeah.
isn't.
No. Yeah, Halloween. I mean, I grew up on the Halloween movies, the
Yep.
Friday the 13th, the Elm Streets, Jaws, and could run through the list. Night of the Living, all of the Living Dead,
Mhm.
Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead Dawn, and all that. So yeah, I enjoy those the most.
Nice. And how old is your son, if you don't mind me asking?
Brendan's now 15. and
Okay.
Sean's 16.
Nice. So you've shared that love of the original horror
With
films.
Brendan, yes.
Nice.
Not Sean. Sean hates them, but it is what it is.
Hey,
He accepts
everybody.
it.
Yeah. But that's nice, you know, you can work together as a family.
But they're both in it. They're both the ones under the sheet.
Oh, awesome.
They
awesome.
like doing it. They don't like seeing it come together and being real. Because it's shot in our house, right? So, you're in Brendan's room, right? Which is the reason we had to call the kid Brendan, because on the door it said
That's
Brendan's
right.
room.
Yeah, no say, yeah.
I'm like, oh, we can't call him whatever we had him named in the script. So yeah, and then Sean's room's next door to that. But I know it still haunts them because Brendan still thinks that thing sitting in his chair.
Yeah.
So I may, you know what I'll do when I get home? Grab the blanket. I still got it. I'll put it over something in the chair, so when he goes to sleep one night, he wakes up with it there. So that'll be fun.
Nice, yeah.
That'll
Awesome.
be good.
Awesome.
I'll
sure.
try to tape that too.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll show it next year. How's that one that looks
Yes.
like they're really getting scared?
Yep. And then maybe we can bring Mr. Blanket, like we have George
Yeah,
the
I
Elf
should have brought
here.
the blanket. Or
For sure.
Yeah, I've got the Mr. Monster doll still.
Oh,
So.
nice. Any other questions? Oh boy.
How long was your production shoot time?
We shot in 2 days. Well, 3. We had a 3-day camera rental, so Friday to Monday, the camera had to be back Monday. But I shot a bunch. I got it like late in the afternoon. I shot a bunch of the inserts and stuff, like a lot of the non-actor related shots, like a lot of those on Friday night. And then we shot the majority of the day Saturday. I edited the majority of the night Saturday night to know what additional stuff I needed outside of what we still had left to shoot. Because it was good that I did that, because there was a couple of shots that were way too soft, that when he comes into the bedroom and pats his wife in the bed, and then the wife comes out of the bathroom there, right? It was sort of, it was kind of an accidental cool thing that ended up happening on the second day, because that was really soft, so we had to reshoot that. So when Brian reaches in the last time to touch her, when he pulls his arm back, it like wipes and you see his wife in the background. That was a total accident, right? Like she was supposed to just like walk out of the bathroom after that, but it's this weird like reveal for her, which worked out really, really well. So, yeah. So another. Oh. Yeah. Cool.
Nice. Well, it's awesome you used your house and stuff, and it just goes to show you that, because I noticed that you, as a parent, like I said, you paid attention to a lot of details, so it didn't matter that you didn't have a huge budget, because somebody can have all the money in the world, but they don't have the dad, like, stepping on the squeaky toy, you
Yeah.
know, like, because that's happened to...
Well, yeah, the other, I mean, at least for the filmmakers here, so one of the things, well, 2 things. One is, it was great to shoot in our own house. My wife hates me for that, because I tended to do it a lot. I think that was the last one. We'll see. But I also, because we had a red camera package that we used for the shoot, but I also own a Blackmagic camera that I ended up, after we basically shot everything, I'm like, I went back, but probably a couple of times. I shot like 3 or 4 shots that are in the movie, a lot of really quick stuff, and it all cuts in and matches just fine. But so it's good. Also, if I'm in the house, hey, I need a shot of a flashlight hitting the ground. Okay, great. You know, and then we, in order to speed up principal sort of photography so we could get it done quick, for the weeks prior, as we were sort of finishing the script, or I finished the script, I actually put together I sort of prevised the entire movie, shooting a bunch of stills in the house and the theoretical locations using an iPhone, and sort of cut the movie together that way to know which shots sort of editorially we were going to do. Then I would go back once I kind of, you know, put in music and sound effects and subtitles under it, so the timing was right? So you get pacing. And then I would go back with the Blackmagic camera and kind of reshoot all of those with, you know, a stuffed animal or a doll or a fake head, just to sort of build the movie. And you do like camera moves and stuff so that you've actually take it to the next level. And I showed it to all the people that were coming over, but that was it, right? Then it was like, editorially you know it, and you know you can go in and do it, but without referring back and forth to it, because you've sort of made the movie once or twice already. So it makes photography a lot cleaner. You're not guessing as much. There's really nothing on the cutting room floor, right? One little shot where the dad, he comes out of the kid's bedroom. Right now he closes the door, then he runs to the light switch. He like looked back in to see the blanket on the floor, then closed it again. That was really the only thing we didn't use that we shot. So.